Now let's try to understand the cloud computing architecture. Cloud computing architecture and its component. So the architecture of the cloud computing contains many different components. It includes client infrastructures, applications, services, runtime clouds, storage space, management, and security. Means, if I'll say the cloud computing infrastructure, what happens basically, generally that infrastructure is divided into two parts, or the architecture of your cloud computing is divided into two parts. We have a front end and we have a back end. In front end, we have a clients, then we have a internet, and after that we have a back end where we have a all the networking infrastructure, all the storage infrastructure, right? And on top of this infrastructure, we have a high virtualization, and on top of virtualization, we are running the operating systems, runtimes, services, and applications. And these particular application and services is accessed by these particular clients. So this is the infrastructure we are having, or this is the basic architecture of your cloud computing. Means in cloud computing, what used to happen, if you will see, these are your end users, and over the cloud we have a servers, virtual desktop, software platforms, application, and storage. Okay. So client infra means client infrastructure is a front end component that provides a GUI. It helps users to interact with the cloud environment. Means what? Let's suppose you want to access the AWS, then what? AWS provide you the AWS console where you can log in and you can basically run your services. The application that can be any software platform which a client wants to access, then service. A service component manages which type of service you can access according to the client requirements. Three cloud computing services are SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, which we have already covered. Runtime cloud means runtime cloud offers the execution and runtime environment to the virtual machines like your hypervisors and the any other necessary softwares. A storage where we will basically store our data, our VMs related data and all basically. Infrastructure includes all your networking device like servers, storage, virtual softwares, right? Routers, switches, everything. Management, this component manage like application services, runtime cloud, all these particular things we have to manage. Okay. Security, we have to take care of the security part as well, because if somebody is using our infrastructure, then we need to make sure all the resources are secure and there nobody can able to access the resources apart from that particular customer. Then internet, we need a good internet connections to provide the good service with the good bandwidth. Okay, I put these links as well. Just go through with these basic things. Now let me just cover the main thing, which is the main characteristics of the cloud computing. So the first characteristics of your cloud computing is on-demand self-service. Means what they offer, they will offer you the services whenever you need it. Let's suppose you have a need of 20 computers which have a 2 core of CPU and which have a 8 GB of RAM just only for 7 days. What you can do, you can basically rent out these particular resources from the cloud environment. Or you need a 20 servers with these particular capacity to launch couple of servers. So they are available on the basis of demand. Cloud computing allows the users to use a web service and resources on demand. One can log into a website at any time and use them. Means they just needs to log into the cloud service provider website or console, and from that console they can able to create these resources. Okay, now multi-tenancy and resource pooling. This is the another characteristic or benefit you will get means one of the most important feature of the cloud technology is multi-tenancy. And guys, I will discuss this multi-tenancy and all. Means we can able to create a account for your development users, or we can create account for developers, for testing environment, for the production environment like dev test and prod, these type of accounts or accounts we can able to create means because they supports the multi-tenancy. It can be defined as a software architecture that enables the single program instance to provide services to multiple end users. This features enables the uses of the same computing resources. Even though we can also do the resource pooling means we can able to share these resources as well. We can share our resources with different customers as well, a bit different accounts of within the same account we can share these resources. This supports multi-tenancy and resource pooling. Broad network access means these particular cloud consoles we can able to access from anywhere. We just need a internet connections. Since cloud computing is completely web based, so it can be accessed from anywhere at any time. Rapid elasticity. It is very easy to scale up or scale down the resources at any time. Means let's suppose let's suppose guys, you have heard the name of like big billion day sales, right? Or Amazon. Amazon also used to run lots of sales and all, right? So means when they used to run these sales, let's suppose they have a couple of servers. Let's say these servers is only able to handle the traffic for 10,000 users. Because now these organizations they are running the sales. Let's say that sales will go for 3 days, and during these 3 days maybe they are getting the 10 time traffic. Means that time, let's suppose they are getting 100K users traffic into these servers. So what they need, instead of having here 2 servers, now they need 8 additional servers, right? So what cloud providers will do, as your load increase into these servers, they will basically launch the additional servers as per your requirement. And as your load went down, what they will start deleting as well these particular server. Means you have a capability of scale in and scale out according to the load. Okay, so that particular feature is also available with the cloud providers. Okay. Resource pooling means cloud computing allows multiple tenants to share a pool of resources. One can share single physical instance of the hardware, database, and basic infrastructure. Means resource pooling is there. Measured and reporting services. Cloud system offers the metering capability to monitor, control, and optimize the uses of the cloud resources. Automation. We can able to use the automation tools like Terraform, Python, Ansible, Cloud Formation template, and all to automate all the creation of this particular infrastructure over the cloud environment. Resiliency. Cloud computing delivers continuous server uptime, and hence it offers resilient services. It offers the capability to recover from any service interruption. Means what we can do, because these cloud providers is spread across multiple location across the globe. Even though let's take an example of Mumbai region. In Mumbai region, what they used to do, they used to basically create a multiple availability zone. And these particular availability zone, they used to have a multiple data centers. And what we can do, we can run our application into all these particular data centers. Means they will give you the resiliency a lot. Okay. Apart from these services, large network access means what? You can run the services because that service is available over the internet. So users can able to access these services. Work from any location means you can able to, if your resources are over the cloud environment, you can go at any location. You just need an internet connections to log in, and you can able to perform your task. Comfortable payment structure means you can basically pay as you go, means whatever you will use, you have to pay the amount for that. If you are not using the cloud resources, you don't need to pay anything. So they have a very comfortable payment structure. Service excellency, easy maintenance means you will get a better service because the internal hardware is maintained by the cloud service providers. So you don't need to do anything if there is any fault is happening in a backend. Easy maintenance. Maintenance is also very easy because you don't need to pay any amount for the maintenance, means for upgrading the software patches, right? For upgrading the backend devices, if there is any type of outdated devices are there, you don't need to do anything. Means you don't need to maintain the life cycle of a product here. You will get the flexibility, right? You can, flexibility means if you want to use the services, you can use it. If you want to destroy, you can destroy it, means they are very flexible. Economical and security means you will get the security, and they are very very economical, means you don't need to pay any upfront amount to them. You can just pay some small amount, and you can start their services. They are highly available because their data center is spread across the globe, means in most of, like they have their data centers into multiple countries at multiple locations, so they are highly available. Auto scaling is possible. Whenever you needed more resources, you can automate these things. So if there is a high traffic is coming in your environment, then they will launch some additional resources. When that traffic went down, they will destroy the additional resources. So auto scaling is there. Scalability is there, means you can scale in and you can scale down. So these are the features which are available in your cloud providers. Like, so as I have mentioned, these are the main characteristics: resource pooling, on-demand self-service, easy maintenance, scalability and rapid elasticity, economical, measure and reporting service, security, automation, availability, large network access, right? So these are the main features, a main characteristic. I have taken these particular slides from internet, so you can also read these particular slides. Okay. Now let's try to understand advantages of the cloud computing, a benefit of the cloud. So the main benefit of your cloud is the first thing, which is cost saving, flexibility. They are available 24/7, reliability, scalability, unlimited storage, cost saving, easy backup and store, automating software updates, and performance. These are the couple of advantages you will be getting with regards to these servers. And I can say like pay as you go, easy maintenance, on demand, automatic system, large network access, great availability of the resources, right? So all these particular features you will get. So with regards to benefit, cost saving and lower infrastructure price means, you, let's suppose if you as a startup company, you don't need to basically invest lots of amount to build the infrastructure. You can just rent out this infrastructure from the cloud service provider and you can start using the things. High speed, you will get a very good speed because all the regions of this AWS, they are connected with the dedicated AWS internet connection or AWS fiber backbone network. Okay. Nearly unlimited storage space. You will get the unlimited storage space if you need it. Automatic software updates and integration, reliability, mobility, all these like pay as you go, quick deployment, security, flexibility, expand IT resources, easy management, right? All these are the benefits you are getting with regards to the cloud network if you are using. There are a couple of disadvantages also there with regards to cloud. Operating from cloud to on-premises means, let's see, whenever you will move your resources from on-prem to the cloud, there are a couple of challenges you will face, right? You need a a skilled person who has a good understanding of these cloud environments to maintain, to install, to migrate your servers, right? Sometimes there is a downtime because see, by end of the day, we are we are spinning the virtual machines over the cloud service provider devices, right? So maybe these provider devices, they have a networking infrastructure, right? So what happens sometime these cloud service providers, they need to perform some task of some type of, you can say, cleanup of the networking devices and all, right? So they need a downtime. Let's say they wants to replace a router, they needs to replace a switch, or they needs to upgrade the firewall and all, right? So there are sometime little bit downtime. Restricted control means what will happen? You will not get the access of the hypervisor. You will not get the access of servers. You will only have the access of the VM which you have installed. So there is a restricted control means half of the control is available with the user, half of the control with the cloud service provider. They have a rigid contracts, requires a strong good internet connection. With the strong bandwidth means you need a good internet connection, right? Limited control of the infrastructure, as I have mentioned, we have a limited control. We just have a access of upper layer or the surface layer. We don't have a access of the lower layer devices and all, right? Ongoing cost, security. Some, let's suppose if your application have a, some critical data, right, which is very very critical for you, then there's a security issues, vendor lock-in, technical issues, understanding costs, slower backup and restore, right? Varied performances, no redundancy, vulnerability to attacks, may not get all features, bandwidth issues, right? So these are the couple of disadvantages. But I can say one thing. See, cloud service providers, they are working very hard to basically overcome all these type of disadvantages which are available here. Most of them is solved if you are using AWS or you are using Azure or you are using GCP. Okay, most of the issues has been resolved. Now generally guys, what type of application we generally use to host over the cloud? So if you will see, like a art application, like we have a Visio, Adobe, Vistaprint, Microsoft Whiteboard, all these type of application we use to install over the cloud environments only. File storage platform like Mediafire, Hotfile, Rapid Share, all these type of file related application we use to host. Image editing application, Footer, Adobe Creative Cloud, right? Data storage application like Dropbox, OneDrive Box, Mozi, Google Suites, all these applications are running over the cloud environments only. Antivirus application like Kaspersky endpoint protection, Sophos endpoint protection, right? Entertainment application and OTT application like Netflix, Prime Videos, Hotstar. Meeting application like Zoom, GoToMeeting, Teams, Webex. Social media application like Facebook, Yammer, Twitter, LinkedIn. Accounting and account application and management application, GPS application, e-commerce application, like Amazon, eBay. All these type of application is hosted over the cloud environments only. There is one question is came, what is vendor lock? Vendor lock means, see, whatever devices you may get, maybe you will not get the root access of these devices, right? Maybe you will not get the access of backend devices, right? That is known as vendor lock-in. What type of organization using these cloud services like Netflix, Pinterest, Xerox, Instagram, Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Flipkart, all these are the big customers who is using these particular cloud services. Okay. Now guys, let's take a break for 5 minutes and after that we will continue with the virtualization. Okay. So guys, if you have seen, there's a one term I have told here like vendor lock-in, right? Vendor locking means What used to happen? Let's suppose there is a company called ABC. There's a company called ABC, and let's suppose this company starts using the services from AWS. Now, this company ABC has a huge dependency on AWS to run their business. And let's suppose now if this ABC company wants to migrate from AWS cloud to the Azure cloud, but it has a huge dependency over the AWS cloud to run their business, and he is not able to migrate towards the another cloud. That is known as vendor lock-in. Okay. Now, I hope I have started the recording. Okay, now let's move towards the virtualization. So guys, I hope, what do you mean by the virtualization? Anyone have any idea about the virtualization? See, guys, these particular cloud computing is possible because of these particular virtualization technology. In virtualization, what we used to do, we used to purchase one hardware, and now on that hardware, what we will install multiple operating system like VM1, 2, 3, 4, 5, multiple operating system. That is known as virtualization. Like in my case, let me just show you my virtualized environment. Let's suppose this is my main PC, right? On this main PC, I'm running one of the server. This is my VMware, and on this VMware, if you will see, I have a hell lot of images, right? I have a hacking lab where I have a Kali Linux image, Parrot, multiple machines, right? Windows, Linux, everything. I have a EVNG, Windows XP, Windows Server, Palo Alto, Panorama, some Linux servers, everything. Means what I have done because of the virtualization technique, what I have done on my main system, on my laptop, in my laptop, I have around 16 core of CPUs, and I have around 64 GB of RAM, and I have a 2 TB of SSD. So what I will do on this laptop, I have basically installed one of the virtualization software called VMware Workstation. Now on this VMware Workstation, what I have, let's suppose I have installed one Palo Alto firewall. Let's suppose I have installed one Kali Linux. I have installed one Windows server. I have installed one of the Linux server. I have installed, let's suppose, one of the test PC, which is your Windows 7 machine or Windows XP machine, right? And now all these particular machines, these particular VMs which I have installed or which I have deployed or which I have spent over this particular on this laptop with the help of this VMware software, and what these machines they are using these particular resources, 16 CPU, 64 GB of RAM and 2 TB SSD. I can divide, I can give here for firewall, I can give 4 CPU, and I can give around 8 GB of RAM, and I can give like 100 GB of storage for SSD. For Kali Linux, I can give 1 CPU, I can give 4 GB of RAM, and I can give 80 GB of SSD. Means all these particular resources is now shared between these particular virtual machine. That is known as virtualization. So virtualization is a technique, is a technology which allow us to install, to run multiple type of operating system into the virtualized environment. Okay, so virtualization in cloud computing, virtualization is a technique which allows to share a single physical instance of a resource or an application among multiple customer organizations. Creating a virtual machine over an existing operating system and hardware is known as virtualization. Means what we are doing, we have a existing hardware and we are running one of the operating system on that hardware, right? And what we are on this top of this operating system, we are installing one of the hypervisor. Hypervisor is a virtualization software, and on top of this hypervisor we are running the virtual machines. And our virtual machine provides an environment that is logically separated from the underlying hardwares. Okay, virtualization play a very important role in the cloud computing technology. Normally in the cloud computing, users share the data present in the cloud like application etc, but actually with the help of virtualization, user shares the infrastructure. Means whatever infrastructure you will get, everything is virtualized. Okay, and if you will see here on, I have shown the example of my setup, but if you will go here, if you will check in this particular diagram, if you will see, I have a hardware. In this hardware, what I have a CPU, I have a RAM, I have a SSD, and I have a network card. Now on this hardware, what I have installed one of the operating system. Let's say I have installed Windows 10 as operating system, and on top of this Windows 10 operating system, I have installed one of the hypervisor, which is VMware workstation. Now this VMware workstation, now on this hypervisor, like on this VMware workstation, I have installed VM1, which is a Linux machine, VM2, which is a Windows machine, VM3, which again a Linux, then Windows, VM4 is again a Windows machine. These four windows, and all these particular four windows, they will share these particular hardware resources. That is virtualization. Why I'm explaining this particular thing? Because in your cloud, whenever you will deploy any type of VM over the AWS environment, it is gonna deploy over the one of the hypervisor, which is known as Gen hypervisor. I'm going to cover that as well. Okay. If you will see here, so generally we have a two type of hypervisor, type 1 hypervisor and type 2 hypervisor. Now, in type 1 hypervisor, what happens? We have a host machine. We have a physical hardware, which have a RAM, CPU, SSD, and NIC card. And now what we used to do on top of this host machine, we will not install any type of Linux or any type of Windows. What? We directly install the hypervisors like your VMware vSphere, Citrix Gen Server or Microsoft Hypervisor, or your VMware ESXi. Means we will install these hypervisor directly on the hardware, on the bare metal device, on the physical hardware. And now on top of this particular hypervisor, we will install our VMs. So these type of hypervisor is known as a type 1 hypervisor. We have a type 2 hypervisor. What we have, where we have a host machine, which is physical hardware. On top of physical hardware, we will run the operating system. Let's suppose we are running here Windows 10, or maybe we are running some type of Linux, or we are running Mac. Now on top of Mac, we are running some type of hypervisor like VMware workstation or VirtualBox. And on top of this particular hypervisor, this VirtualBox, we are running our VMs. So in type 2, we need a operating system like a Windows operating system. On top of this operating system, we will run the hypervisors. Okay. So these are two type of hypervisors available. So hypervisor is a program that allows multiple operating systems to share a single physical hardware. Means what it used to do, it is just a program or software which allow the multiple operating system to share a single physical hardware. Each operating system will share the host processors, RAM, file storage and other resources. The hypervisor controls the host, processor and resources, means all the controlling is done by the hypervisor. Allocating what is needed to each operating system. This ensures that he this ensures that the guest operating system called virtual machine cannot interrupt the each other. And also guys, it will create a some type of segmentation boundary between different type of virtual machines. What is a cloud hypervisor? A cloud hypervisor is a software solution that enables you to share the physical computing and memory resources of a cloud provider across multiple virtual machines. So this is the example of your cloud hypervisor. Cloud hypervisor allows the single physical servers to run multiple guest virtual machines. These VMs each have their own operating systems that run independently and are logical separate from each other. Now guys, there is a one big difference between container and hypervisor. Just remember, containers and hypervisors are involved in making application faster and highly efficient. However, they achieve this same goal, means see, the goal of this using container and hypervisor is similar. Okay, just remember. If I'll go here, if you will see the container and hypervisor here, so we have a couple of container based solutions like Docker, Kubernetes, right? Now, so what happens basically when you have a hypervisor? So what this hypervisor we used to run on a physical hardware, we used to run the hypervisor, and on top of hypervisor, we used to run the guest operating system. Then we used to run the necessary binaries and softwares, and we will run the necessary application. But in the containers, what we used to do, we have a infrastructure which is physical hardware. On top we have a operating system, and here we used to run the container engine like your Docker engine. On top of this Docker engine, we are directly creating this particular application. So we not needed any type of guest operating system here, just remember. So that's the main difference between hypervisor and containers. But by end of the day, what we are getting the application up and running. So we have two types of hypervisors as I have mentioned. In type 1, we will run the hypervisor directly on the physical servers. But in type 2, we will run the hypervisor on top of one of the operating system like Windows or the Mac or the Linux. So type 1 hyper, like most common enterprise data centers, a type 1 hypervisor replace the host operating system, means in type 1 we don't have a host operating system and lies right on the top of the hardware. For this reason, type 1 hypervisor are also called bare metal hypervisors or embedded hypervisors. There are a couple of examples for type 1 hypervisor like your vSphere, ESXi, ESX. All these are the hypervisor from VMware. Then we have Microsoft Hyper-V, Gen, Citrix Gen, right? Or Oracle VMware and the Citrix hypervisor. So these are the couple of examples for type 1. In type 2 hypervisors, what we need to run these type 2 hypervisor on top of guest operating system. So a type 2 hypervisor hosted running as a software on the OS, which in turn runs on the physical hardware. This form of hypervisor is typically used to run the multiple operating system on one personal computer, such as to enable the users to boot into either Windows or Linux machines. Type 2 hypervisors are like your VMware Workstation, VMware Fusion, Oracle VirtualBox, Oracle Solaris Jones, Oracle VM Server for x86 with architecture. Now, guys, there are a couple of points which you need to remember. Maybe you will found this question in the interview. Just remember, AWS EC2 uses two type of different hypervisor because we are we are going through with the AWS training. So that is the main reason I am covering this particular thing. So Amazon EC2 uses two different hypervisors depending on the generation of the instance. Means it totally depends on the generation. They have a like different type of generation. So when we will discuss the EC2 concepts, that time I will cover all of them that you are using. The earlier generation instance use a modified version of Gen hypervisor. Gen hypervisor is a open source hypervisor, just remember. And the newer generation uses the Nitro hypervisor, which was developed by the AWS themselves. So in Amazon, they are using two type of hypervisors. First one is Gen. In the previous or the old generation instances, and all the new generation instances, they are using the Nitro hypervisor. So these are the names you need to remember. Gen is an open source hypervisor that allows for efficient resource allocation and the management in the virtualized environment. In case of Azure Cloud, Azure uses a customized version of Hyper-V. Azure Hypervisor is referred to the native hypervisor in the Azure Cloud Services platform that enables in creating virtualized machines and servers on the Azure Cloud Platform. It is similar to Microsoft Hyper-V, but it's just a customized version of Hyper-V. This Microsoft Hyper-V hypervisors. Okay, Google Compute Engine uses the KVM based hypervisor, and it supports the guest images running Linux and Microsoft Windows, which are used to launch virtual machines used on the x64-bit, x86 architecture devices. So these are the couple of information which you need to remember with regards to the hypervisors. Now, guys, let's do one small practical today. What we are going to do now, which is most important thing, AWS account creation. Let's create a AWS account. And guys, this particular activity everyone needs to perform. Everyone needs to do this particular thing. So once your class will complete, just start creating this particular AWS account. Remember. If you have account, then you don't need to create. That's it. No. See, to create this account, let me just go into my Mozilla Firefox, and you can just type here AWS free tier account. On Google, you have to search with this AWS free tier account. You will get the first Amazon Web Services get a free tier account. Click on this link, or you can also search like this AWS console. When you will type this AWS console, you will get here manage AWS resources, AWS management console. You can click on this console. You will go here. Now you can click on this one, create an account from here, or you can also create the account from here. Okay, so these are the two ways. So you can just see here, create a free account. Click on this. Now see, it will basically take you to this particular place. Now, guys, when you will create this particular account, so generally what we will always create a free tier account, just remember. Okay, because if you will check this particular URL, if you visit this particular URL, you will able to see all the free services. What are the free services which is offered by the AWS, and we will use these services. So it will not, we don't need to pay lots of bills, right? So three type of offers, free trials, right? 12 months, always free, right? You can able to check the services like compute service. You will get 750 hours of free EC2 compute you can utilize for 12 months. Storage 5 GB of storage you can utilize in S3, right? Database, all these things you can basically check out here. You will able to get the long list. Okay, so these are the free services which we want to explore. Okay, now I'll go here. So you have to mention root user email ID. So you have to mention one email ID here. So let me just use one of the email ID because I already have two accounts. So I will just create one dummy account today. So what I can use this particular email ID, which is help.sianets.com. You have to type the email ID. You can put the account name. So you can just type here like AWS training. Later we can change. Click on verify email ID. You will get one verification code in your email ID. So you have to put that code. So I'm just waiting. I received the code. Let me just put this code, which is 936060. Click on verify. So see, I have put the email ID. I have put the correct code and see, I have verified. Now it is asking to put the password. So let me just put one password here. So I will put one password. Now just click on continue. Step 1 to 5. Continue. Not, I don't want to save here. Okay, now if you will see this thing, all AWS account can explore 3 different type of free offers depending on the product use, right? We have a always free, which is never expire. We have a 12 months free, and we have a trials. Okay, so what you will go, you can go by default. Okay, don't choose anything here. How do you plan to use the AWS? You can just put here for the personal use, put your name, put your full name. Let's suppose my name is Hemu, so I will put here Hemu. Put the number here. Number is necessary, guys. So you can search your country here, whatever country you belongs to, you have to search with that with your country, and you can type like India. Come on. Type India. I'm from India, so I will just put here India and I will just put the number. And guys, we have to put the number here. It is mandatory. Okay. So I can use, let me just use what number I can use. Let me just check if I have any dummy number right now. Yeah, I can use one of the number. Country, you can select your country. I'm from India, so I will select India. Address, you can put your address. Let me just put my address. So guy, you have to put the correct address. I'm just putting the wrong address. Okay. Select this option. I have read and agree to terms and condition. Continue to the next step. Now guys, this is the most important part here. Okay. Now what you have to do, see, AWS will verify your details, right? So what you have to put your credit card details, either a debit card details. and they will accept the Visa, Master, American Express, and RuPay card. Even though, guys, you can also use the virtual card as well. Nowadays, lots of banks they used to create a virtual cards, right? So you can utilize these cards as well. And if you will see, we will this AWS they is telling they will not charge you for the uses below AWS free tier account means they will not charge anything. If you are using the free services, they will not charge. We may temporarily hold up to 1 USD means sometime they used to hold 1 USD, an equivalent amount in your local currency as per the pending transaction for 3 to 5 days. So what they will do if you are from India and if you will create this account, what they will basically charge around 2 INR just for the validation purpose, and you will get this 2 INR as a refund as well. And guys, make sure when you are entering your card details, you have to make sure you have enabled the online transactions. Means online transaction is enabled in your card. Sometime we used to disable these transactions, right? So that time, in that case, this thing will not work. Okay. We have to put the card details. You can use debit, credit card, put the expiry date and all, put the CVV number, card holder details, right? You can use the same address here. Do you have a PAN card? You can go with no, you don't have a PAN card and click on verify and continue for the next step, right? So what I'm doing, guys, I'm just putting my card details into different screen. Okay. So I'm just entering the card details here. And I'm just click on verify and continue here after entering this detail. Now you can see you have to put the OTP and all. So you will get that OTP generally in your phone. So like I have received my OTP. Confirm the OTP. What happening? Just give me 1 second. Let me just, okay, I think I was putting the wrong OTP. See, it is just requesting for the payment and all. So if there is any issue, guys, looks like this on this card, I have just disabled the international transactions. So I need to use the different card. Okay, let me just do that. I can use this card then. Okay. Expiry date is 6/20. 28. See, now it is asking me to put put the OTP, so I'm just waiting for that OTP. I have got the OTP. So they have debited to INR, right? And you can see I will get this particular details. Confirm your identity. So sometime what they used to happen, sometimes they used to ask that particular identities, right? So you have to put personal use, ownership is individual. Sometimes you need to enter your PAN card details and all, right? So what I can do, I can enter my PAN card. Continue. So just select India, put your number, not this one. 9289532243. Put this bad captcha, MF4R3C. Send SMS. You will get the SMS here. So I have get the SMS. So I will get this OTP. OTP is 6216. Creation, this account creation is very easy, right? You can go, you can select this basic support. I do not support this developer or business one. Okay, go with the basic support. Okay, because we are just creating this account for the lab purpose. Complete sign up. And you will get this congratulations. Thank you for signing up for AWS. We are activating your account, which should only take a few minutes. You will receive an email when this will complete, right? You can go into this AWS console. Let me just check if I have received the email. So sometime guy, you used to get the email right away. Sometime it will take little bit time. So in my case, so I got one email like your Amazon Web Service account is ready to start in. I can click on sign in. Let me use help.sianets@gmail.com. This was my email ID which I have used. I'm logging as a root user. Later on, we will see how we can create the IAM account and all. Password is, put the password here. Let me save my password. And here we go. My account is created, guys. So anyone have any questions in creating this account? Any problem with the process? It's just a step-by-step process. Okay. You don't need to do here and there. If you will follow the instructions, you can able to create this particular account. Now, if you will go and if you will check, you can able to see all your services here. Click on all services, you can able to see all the services. And right now you can see I have got my account name is AWS training. This is my account ID. Later on, we will see the billing and cost management, everything I will cover. So generally, if you will go here, you can go, let me skip the tool. Let me just tell you one thing. If you will go here, if you will click on billing and cost management, it will basically take you towards this particular place. Okay. You can go, you can check into the bill section here. You can able to see the bills. If there is any billing is available right now, you can see billing is 0 USD. So guys, now let me tell you one thing. See, when you will create the account, you can use this account for 30 days. In 30 days, let's suppose you will get a bill of 500 INR. You can write an email to AWS. You are just a student and you are exploring this AWS for learning purpose. What they will do, they will waive off this particular amount. Again, after 1 month, let's say again your amount is reached 500, you can again write an email. So they will waive off that amount as well. They used to do so around 2-3 times they used to waive off that amount. So you can able to just get benefit of this part. Okay. You can go into the payments. From here, you can able to see the payments related details, right? Unbilled transactions, whatever are there, you can able to check all these things here, right? You can, if you will go into this budget, from here, you can able to create a budget, use a template, zero spend budget, a monthly cost budget. You can go with the monthly cost budget and you can just put, let's suppose if your budget, if your bill reached 100, reached 10 USD, you will get the notification. You can put your email ID here. So what you will get the email notification when your budget reached at 100 USD within a month. So like that, we can able to create the budget. Now your budget is created. If you will check the free tier here detail, you can able to see the free tier detail. Let me just go because we have a time. So let me just log into my main AWS account, which is here. And if I will go here into the billing and cost management, here you can able to see like this is my, if I will go into the bills section, right now you can see I have a build of around 0.059 USD, even though it's not 1 USD, right? And you can expand the payment details and all, right? You will get the details like which service is taking how many amount, how much amount, right? So you can able to see everything here. And if I'll go here and if I will just check my budget just for January month, in January month, I have get a budget. I have get around bill of 16 USD. Why I have get this? Because I have purchased one of the domain. I have purchased one domain. For that, I have paid around 13 USD, right? Otherwise, I was using multiple services and I used to get a like bill for $10 or $20 or $15 in a month maximum. Okay, so you can able to basically see all these things, which service, why you have paid, because I'm using this route 53 as well, right? So that's why I have to pay around half USD for a month to use this route 53. Then this is for virtual private gateway, right? Then in BPC, which service I have used couple of services, right? So that is the reason they have charged me that much amount. Then data transfer charges, CloudWatch, Elastic Compute charges, right? You can able to see everything. Okay. And guys, if you want to see what are the services available over the AWS console, you can able to see I see I have basically highlighted the BPC service, EC2, S3, BPC, which is your virtual private cloud. EC2 is your elastic compute. S3, which is storage, Route 53, which is DNS, then RDS, which is relational database, IAM, which is identity access management, certificate manager, which is your certificate service like ACM, AWS certificate manager, right? So you can able to go into these services. If you will go here, you can basically look for other services and you can make the favorite, like make this AWS resource manager as a favorite, auto scaling as a favorite service, right? AWS private service authority as a favorite service. So you can able to see these services here directly. Okay. And you can also search the services, like you can search with the name. Let's suppose you want to search the database services, type here database, you can able to see we have a DynamoDB, RDS, right? All the database related services. Okay, so this is the section where if you will click on all services, you can able to see all services are available. These are the services which is offered by the AWS. Okay, like let me just select couple of services like AWS, Cloud Trail, Cloud Watch. I am just making these services a favorite ones. Okay, so these are the services offered by the AWS. You can check it out here. Okay, so guys, this is it for today's class. Okay, and remaining things we will see in the next lecture. And let me just check what I have for today's, if I have discussed everything or not. So we have seen what is cloud computing, SaaS architecture, advantage. Yeah, so these are the topic which targeted today, guys. And today's class I have just covered the basic things, all theoretical. Tomorrow class is also based on the all theoretical, and after that we will start your practicals and all. Okay, so that's it for today's session, guys. One more thing I want to tell you, the recorded session for today's class and tomorrow class I am going to share with, I will upload on my YouTube channel. You will get from the YouTube, and from next week onwards you will get this particular course or the videos of these sessions through my video portal, and my team will guide you what are the things you have to do, what are the things you have to download, everything. Okay, okay guys, thank you very much for joining me today. Let me just stop the recording now and we can start the Q&A.